So let's turn our attention then to something that I know is on the minds of everybody, and that's the MLB trade deadline. It's coming up August 2nd at 6 p.m. That is the cutoff. And it started to get kicked off with the New York Yankees making a move for Andrew Benintendi on Wednesday night. Andrew Benintendi no longer a Kansas City Royal. He is now a New York Yankee. It's rumored that there are 3 minor leaguers that are heading to Kansas City for Benintendi, which all but takes Robbie Grossman out of any type of trade conversation, as if he were in it at all. But one of the few places that you could see Grossman going would be New York as a replacement for Gallo or like a fourth outfielder type thing. Switch hitter, versatile off the bench, but all but takes him out of the trade conversation, which is fine because he's a free agent at the end of the year anyway. But really what we're looking at here is kind of listed in order of which way I think they will go, or the odds that they have to be traded. Really, you have a number of trade chips that could be tossed out. Fulmer, Gregory Soto, Jimenez, Chafin, potentially Jonathan Schoop, and Tarik Skubal, as reported by Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic earlier this week. Because the Tigers are entertaining offers on him, which is a whole nother discussion that we've talked about in the past and would be a very hefty price tag for Tarik Skubal, or at least it should be. Now let's talk about Fulmer. Fulmer is a rental. He is a free agent at the end of the season. Fulmer is a very, very effective bullpen piece and somebody that nostalgia would tell us has a very high price tag, but reality tells us don't get too set on the fact that you want the world for Michael Fulmer when you're not going to get that. Expect to be disappointed in the return for Fulmer. I'm not even talking about Al Avila this week. I'm just talking about pure value at this point. I don't even want to get into the Avila discussion. Rental bullpen pieces, unless their name is Aroldis Chapman, are not going to fetch top-tier prospects. Fulmer's had his bumps in the road. He is a free agent at the end of the season. He's a very cheap rental. But I would not expect the world for Michael Fulmer. Some teams that, he could potentially fit at, and I hate to say this first one, but Minnesota. They have the 29th best bullpen in Major League Baseball. They desperately need bullpen help, and you're a little less concerned trading him in division given the fact that he is a rental. Toronto. Maybe Michael Fulmer does not get on the plane home. They have the 24th best bullpen in the game right now. It's all possible. Teams like the Yankees, obviously the Dodgers, are clearly always in the mix for bullpen help. Now Soto. Gregory Soto is another name to keep your eye on, given his triple-digit left-handed arsenal. But with Gregory Soto, he is, given his years of control left, he has 3 arbitration years left, and given his skill set and the fact that he has pitched in pressure situations, he is the most valuable trade chip that you have, not named Tarik Skubal. But with that comes the fact that if you are willing to forego those 3 years of arbitration and you're willing to trade him, then the return better be much, much greater than what you get for Michael Fulmer. It also should be better than what you returned for Justin Wilson from the Cubs, which netted you Candelario and Isaac Paredes. So if you trade Fulmer, or not Fulmer, but if you trade Soto, which you don't have to at this point, But if you trade him, the price tag better be lofty. Joe Jimenez is going to be entering his final arbitration year, so he has about a year and a half worth of control, the remainder of this year and then next year. Another one that ups the value a little bit. Probably would bring about the same or less of a return to Michael Fulmer. Andrew Chafin. He has another year on his contract. He is owed $7.5 million in 2023. Potential fit in Seattle, who could use a left-handed reliever. St. Louis is another team that any of these relievers could fit on. Those are the teams, and these are the names to keep in connection. Fulmer, Soto, Jimenez, Chafin, Toronto, Minnesota, Seattle, St. Louis. And then, of course, obviously, you've always got your Los Angeles Dodgers and you've got your New York Yankees, especially with the Yankees losing Michael King for the season. You could definitely see them looking to add some type of bullpen piece. So let's talk about Tarik Skubal. It's not unwise to listen on Skubal at all. They should be listening on Skubal. But if the return does not net you something similar to at least a top 5 prospect in a good farm system, plus a minimum of 2 others, the value is not high enough. You're talking about a guy that is 25 years old. He's under team control for next year and then has 3 years of arbitration. So that's 4 years of control, not including the half a year this season. Has a great arsenal, strong competitor, and is pitching a lot better than a 39-pitch 4th inning would indicate. If the team does not knock you out of the park with their offer, you do not make the trade for Tarik Skubal. And I'm not saying that we take one guy to build around for the future, but if you were to sell off Skubal, it would hopefully be the nail in the coffin for Al Avila. Because that would signal that this rebuild is not over, that we're rebuilding, and that it's going to take about a year to 2 years to actually compete, like 2024, 2025. So unless you are getting some very highly touted, very close to MLB ready prospects, and bats at that, then you do not trade Skubal. But all that is going to rest on the shoulders of one man, Al Avila, who you know well I do not trust. And we're going to see what happens come August 2nd at 6 p.m.
Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on a what? Yeah. You know I be on a what?